everything has to do with Steven. I really like it. Like, I so much like that. It's really interesting for a show to focus around Steven, and one of the most interesting things actually about the show also is that we are not exactly getting straightforward answers when Steven doesn't ask for them. In that way, we are only getting the same information that Steven is getting again. So, we are not exactly getting the full picture of gems, and in the earliest episodes, Steven didn't ask that much about it. Steven wasn't that peculiar, like, he wasn't so curious about the world of the gems, while he still was very eager to participate in the missions and help them out as he could. He wasn't exactly, shall we say, the most inquisitive about the nature of the gems in the first place. So now that has changed, which is again kind of a really cool way to show character progression, so props for the show for doing that. And the information we have gained is similar to what Steven has gained. The show doesn't exactly focus on giving us a huge dump of information about the backstory of the gems, and it doesn't really just go into full exposition mode and tells a huge background story, which I found to be actually interesting. It shows us aspects of the gems, but it doesn't, like, it feels more natural. So it's really hard to convey this feeling I have about this. Mostly in the way that it has a mystery it has a mystery, and that mystery is the nature of the gems. However, usually mystery shows focus on giving us so many clues. However, here they are very much mentioned offhandedly. They feel like they are side mentions. They are something that Steven just happened to hear, and by proxy we hear them. So that is really quite interesting interesting of a way to tell story, and I absolutely love it. So yeah. Another reason why I love the show, which is pretty close to that, is surprisingly the character of Steven. As I mentioned in the commentaries, I absolutely love him in so many ways. Mostly because he, as a titular character, he is, or as the main hero, he is very atypical. He is not the most athletic, not the most clever, not the most agile, definitely not the strongest, and yeah, and however, he has very positive qualities in him, which are like his kindness, his bravery, and certainly he isn't dumb, don't get me wrong, like, he is very acutely aware of why people do things they do, and he is very socially adept. He knows how to deal with situations, and he is very charismatic, shall we say, even though that's kind of hard to believe, like, of looking outwardly, it's hard to believe that Steven is charismatic, but he portrays so many good leadership qualities with his open nature and his like lightheartedness, and his very welcoming demeanor. Like, even his character design very much portrays the friendly character type that he is. He even tried to make friends with the antagonists. That should tell you something about his character already there. So I really absolutely love Steven in the way that he is so much atypical he's so different from most protagonists. And even though he does share some of their qualities, he isn't exactly, like, he doesn't feel like a copy of any character, and he might be one of the most unique characters I've ever seen. So that is really quite something. And I feel like and the show really, as he is the titular character, the show knows how to focus on him without making it seem like it focuses on him, which is really quite peculiar. I haven't seen a show that focuses every episode on a single character without feeling like it focuses on them, while revealing different facts about the world and giving really natural world building, character building, world character progression, story progression. It's really quite something else. So, yeah. I should probably also mention the humor of the show, which is sometimes hit and miss, and sometimes really funny. And it is certainly really funny at some points, and sometimes not so much. But it certainly is entertaining, and I feel like it has a very wide array of um, it has a lot of humor, like different types of humor into it. So I can certainly feel like everybody can get some enjoyment out of it. Offhandedly, before going to characters, let's just mention a few other great topics about the show, and those are the songs are absolutely amazing. And I don't think I need to mention Stronger Than You. I suppose everybody knows that song, and there's a good reason for that. Like, that song is absolutely magnificent. There's not much else to say about it. Like, I already watched it like this morning, so you know, it's a great show. It's just amazing. So yeah, then another one of the background songs also are very impressively done, so that they actually like every character's like background music or their theme very much supports the characterization that they have. So yeah. I haven't mentioned the finale all that much because, surprisingly enough, I was a bit disappointed by it, mostly in the way that I wasn't exactly awe-stricken by it. Now, don't get me wrong, there was nothing wrong with it. Like, there was nothing wrong with it. I absolutely loved it. However, I feel like was a bit too fast, and somehow that kept nagging me the entire time. However, the finale was really great. Like, there's not much else to say about it. It was absolutely amazingly done. Like, as I said in the commentary, it had a great visual design, it had a great audio design. That's about it. And it actually had had a really great choreography to it, which is surprisingly enough something very rare for the show. Which is like, it has an interesting concept like, it has a lot of potential for interesting battles. But it doesn't take advantage of those, because that's not what Steven focuses on, so that's cool. Yeah. I suppose we should talk about the characters, which is really quite something. Some of the characters, especially the background characters, they are sometimes very stereotypical. Like, they are so stereotypical sometimes. However, they don't feel flat, as each of them do portray more qualities than appears on the surface. And like, they do feel like normal human beings, since they are actually, like, you know, character stereotypes exist for a reason, because there are people who fall into those stereotypes. However, each of the characters in the show actually portray like they are more than their character actually appears to be on the surface. Maybe some less than others, but still they don't feel exactly completely flat. I'll just I'm just gonna briefly mention, since this is going to get like, maybe this is really running close to 30 minutes soon. Oh, 23, whatever. I'm just gonna talk about the main characters quickly, because the side characters, while they are really great, and I really love some qualities that they portray, something like, I really have a soft spot for Ronaldo, mostly because of the reasons I mentioned in the commentary. Go check it out. Yeah, the main characters, I absolutely love every single one of them. Like, well, Greg, for example, in my opinion, is the best dad ever. Like, he is definitely one of the best, if not the best dad shown in any animation ever. Now, this is not much coming from me, as my repertoire is not that large, so I might take that back at some point, but from what I've seen, he is the most realistic, and like he is the most realistic and admirable dad at the same time, because he is a single caretaker, kind of. The Crystal Gems do take care of Steven, but you get the point. Like, he is the single parent of Steven, and he is like, he has a lot of positive traits, and he feels like he is absolutely believable, and he is relatable, and he's adorable, and he is like actually very realistic. Like, I could see someone like, Actually, I have seen few dads that are rather similar to him in some aspects. Although one of them played accordion, but whatever. Um, there's not much else to say. Like, I suggest everybody to go check the commentaries because I really have talked about Greg because I absolutely love him as a character. Mostly in the way that he is, well, he is the best dad ever. Yeah, I really like him because he's just, and he is amazing. And the relationship between him and Steven is really quite something to behold, as it is a really nice dad and son relationship, and it is believable, and it's heartwarming, and it's really cute. And I really like it. Yeah. Then let's talk about. Well, I don't think you should. Like, Lapis Lazuli isn't exactly a main character. He's more of a side character. I just like that blue waifu. She's kind of like, she's very mysterious, and her song supports it. And we have seen just few glimpses of her, but I still absolutely like her. Yeah, then we're not going that far anymore. But she's still quite interesting. But the main Crystal Gems, oh boy, they are really quickly, like, when they are introduced for the first time, they really do seem like stereotypes, and maybe even offensive, so especially in the case of Garnet. However, we do grow along, like, they grow along with the show, like, they grow with Steven, and their relationship with Steven grows, and they all have interesting qualities to them, such as, well, Garnet is a pair of lesbian space rocks. So, that's like the show can't be summarized like, why is grown men crying over lesbian space rocks? But that's true. Like, it is like Garnet is so interesting the way that she is really just she's a fusion, and that just always proposes so many interesting possibilities about her. I really do like her, and I would kind of wish to see more about Ruby and, was it Sapphire? I can't exactly remember. Unfortunately enough, the most we've seen of the characterization, well, is the song, which is really quite remarkable and quite unfortunate, as I would love to get more about them. However, I just, like, whenever I think about Garnet now, like, whenever I think about her, like, the only scene that comes to my mind is Sapphire, Sapphire and Ruby just embracing one another, and it looks so adorable. It's so heartwarming. Oh, I don't know what else to say about that. I absolutely love it. It's so great. But I really do like her. At first, she seemed like a very offensive stereotype, if I may say so. However, now she has slowly shown more emotions. She has shown more characterization, and she has opened up slowly. Now, that could be either that she hasn't opened up that much previously, or it could be that Steven didn't pay attention to her previously. Now, that's an interesting facet, as we can take the earlier episodes as Steven not paying attention to different circumstances, which is an interesting perspective to take on things. So, I offer that to you. Oh my, 1 minute left. Oh, bollocks, this is gonna go for 3 videos, isn't it? Okay. So, I suppose I should mention Amethyst and Pearl, because while Pearl doesn't exactly seem